Justin Trudeau recently announced a plan to put Canada further into a deficit spending situation, and this plan was widely panned by even the mainstream media here in Canada as spending a lot of taxpayer dollars for not a lot of results. In fact, I've never seen such negative coverage of a federal budget before. And this week, Justin Trudeau's out trying to, I'm just going to be honest, polish this turd. So today he was out talking about, I think, I'm not sure, but I think he was trying to talk about spending with regard to science in Canada. Here's what he had to say.
The thing is that every single human being starts off as a scientist. When you're a baby, you are a scientist. If I, make this noise, wow, I get milk.
I guess what bothers me is we're now at the point where the Prime Minister of Canada is just lampooning himself left, right, and center. Like, I think what he was trying to get at with this comment is that curiosity is innate to humans, and that, that's the basis of science, and that we should be trying to foster that. But he didn't say that. He gave the audience some sort of a nugget of his wisdom, thinking, that he'd be like, oh, yes, excellent, great. On science, in terms of federal spending, there's a few things that the Prime Minister could have said in this situation. He could have said, yeah, sure, curiosity is innate to human beings, and sure, many of us, quote unquote, experiment with different problem sets on a daily basis, but in reality, it takes a lot of training and work in things like understanding how to analyze data sets, put together large experimental models, understanding the ethics around that. I could go on and on. It takes a lot of training to add to the global body of scientific knowledge. And Canada does have a lot of really good researchers, but we need to now look at some of the barriers to entry for, let's say, for example, women in science and technology. We also need to look at the fact that throwing a whole bunch of money at research in Canada isn't going to address research productivity, because we have to look at things like the administrative burden of research. I mean, I could do a whole another video just on that. He also could have talked about the fact that, the Prime Minister's made a lot of structural changes to our economy recently. He's made the regulatory environment in Canada highly bureaucratic, highly unproductive, and highly uncompetitive, and that doesn't help translate Canadian research or intellectual property into the Canadian economy over time. In fact, we see a lot of Canadian intellectual property that's generated by Canadian researchers leave the country. We also see a lot of Canada's top minds consider taking positions in other countries because, frankly, there's better tax structures, there's more efficient ways and models of research funding. But no, the Prime Minister chose to make that comment that I just sent to you. And I think it's worth making light of it and making fun of it because he's consistently not serious. If this was a one-off sort of tongue-in-cheek thing, okay, cut him some slack, right? But the thing is especially after this India trip, I mean, time after time after time, Trudeau makes it about himself and his so-called brilliance as opposed to really having a solid policy conversation. He chose not to do that today, and I think it's right for us to poke fun at him for being so unserious. Federal science policy is important. We should be having a robust policy conversation about how to attract and retain top researchers in Canada, how to fund research, and then certainly on the back end of that as well, ensure when there are when there is intellectual property that's developed, that it is commercialized here in Canada. Those are the sort of things I'd love to talk about, but no, that's the comment that we got. And those are the sort of comments that we're all going to keep pushing back on. Working hard for you in Calgary. Have a great day.